we didn't cover, do women and men experience concussion differently? Is there a different vulnerability? Ross, tell us about that.
We're seeing that females report it more often. Females are not structurally not as strong, so they can't absorb the velocity of the hits as well. And I think we see a lot more emotional type of symptoms from females.
It affects emotionally more. Rachel, can you?
Yeah, and that's sort of what's been the trend, at least in sort of the knowledge base we have, is that females tend to have more of what we call, again, we talked about those class of symptoms that you may have, the cognitive, the motor skills, sleep, and females tend to have more of the emotional, so whether it's very tearful or very quick to, set that fuse off and be angry, and females tend to suffer concussions for longer periods of time, take longer to get well than males. And some of that is hard because one of the things we know about women and females in general are that we tend to be a little bit more vocal about our symptoms or about the way we're feeling. And so that's one of the questions is it just that men aren't admitting or fessing up to the symptoms they're having?
And then it catches up later, right? Janelle, have you had a good community of support? Do you have other women athletes who have experienced this that you can turn to?
I actually have a very good friend. Her name's Jamie Higa. She graduated the same year as me. She went to Kalani High School. She actually had less concussions than me, but suffered more severe symptoms soon after. So me and her have been in close contact, have some similarities in what we went through, and she's a very good person to talk to. But yeah, I think a good support system is key, and there's been some people there and there hasn't been some people there. So it's really important, I think, for everybody to understand that what somebody went through, it's not just an injury, it's much more than that, it goes deeper.
Yeah, you've only got one brain, and when you have to worry about it, it's very stressful.
But I think that also touches on the issue of retirement from sport, because you talked about how emotional it is, and I think for me, even just as a practitioner, that's probably one of the toughest decisions that I will make, and I would never make it alone, meaning I use a team of professionals and experts, as well as partnering with the family, the school, the athlete themselves, to really determine when is that right time to say, have you thought about a non-contact sport? There are other wonderful ways to exercise and be part of a team or part of a sport without having to take the hits. And there's some data to show there are certain factors or criteria, like concussions are coming more frequently. It's easier to sustain, less of a hit, faster a concussion type of phenomenon, that the symptoms are never going away, that we may have a few check boxes, but I think it's not a perfect formula yet. And if you're going to make that decision, you have to have all those support systems in place before you do that.